Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure unboxing and review, we're going to be looking at the Legacy Velocitron Speedia 500 IDW Blurr figure. So what we're going to do with this video, we're going to unbox him live in a second, have a look at the entire contents of the packaging. We'll have a detailed look at him in both of his modes to help you decide how you want to display him. We're going to do loads of comparisons. We're going to do comparisons with him and some other figures, obviously, of himself that have shared the same mould. Some other Blurr figures in the Generations toy line. His original Generation 1 self, and because he's an IDW take on Blurr, we did have some IDW take on some figures a few years back, in fact 10 years ago, which was the Thrilling 30, so we can see how he fares and displays with some other characters and figures that are based on the IDW versions of themselves. So as you can see, quite a bit to get through with this video today, and I'd like to remind anybody, if they've not subscribed to this channel, if they'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now please, because it really will help me out. Right, before we go any further as well, let's have a look at this beautiful and little box it is. It's much smaller than the boxes that we are used to. In fact, just to prove it, I've got a little cliff jumper there, which again is a deluxe size figure, and you can see it is so much smaller, and that is mainly of course due to the fact they've took the plastic window out. So they've took the plastic window out and they've actually got the rope ties rather than the plastics. But let's look at this artwork there of Blurr. Absolutely fantastic. And let's have, I think, yeah, I was going to say this is a zoomed in version of that picture there, and there we've got a picture as well of the alternate mode, and then an actual stock image of the alternate mode. And of course this is a mini subline to Legacy, and it's really good. It is a lot of repaint and retools, but I just like the whole concept of it, in honesty. This one came from Hasbro Pulse, although they are out in the UK in Smith's stores at the moment as well, and I believe in America they are of course Walmart exclusives. So let's open him up and see what else comes with him. So there he is in there. These are the new moulded on wheels. They are literally just moulded on, they don't go around at all. We've got the accessories of course in this little paper bag, so make sure we don't throw them away. We've got the instructions, which we've got right there, and of course we've got this little bit of paper that we always just throw away. So bear with me a few seconds, I'll set him free from there and I'll come right back to you with some first impressions. Okay, then we're back and he's set free from his packaging, and in all honesty I like this color scheme. Now it's out of the box and I can see the bits of the silvers with it as well. It's just making it work, like the silver bit there and on the top. You couldn't really tell that it was covered up when it was in the box, so it just looked like the normal blues, which again I think work, but I think with the added bits of these silvers on the sides and at the back, it just makes it look even better. We've obviously got the Autobot logo in, yeah, the chest piece there that still rotates. The wheels, as I've mentioned, they're just molded on. Unfortunately no movement whatsoever, but let's be honest, they don't touch or nowhere near the floor either. So we've got the two accessories, and we can of course, as normal, we can attach these. There's a little tab there which we can put this into, and then we've got the two cutouts either side there for this, which also just means that we can pop that in like so. I don't know if that makes it look any better or worse, to be honest. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's exactly how they've got it on the back. I was just making sure. That just doesn't look right to me. It looks a little bit odd. I think it would have been better if it would have been able to put like so. I don't know why they couldn't. For me, it just looks, maybe it's a little bit strange. If I turn it the opposite way, let's see if that makes a bit of a difference. A little bit better, but again, it's not ideal. I think it's actually better without the accessories. Let's take them off for a minute. Let's do a quick comparison then with G1 Blurr, and this sticker on the front there should not be there, to be honest, but it's a little bit, well, it's quite a bit smaller actually, but again this is the IDW version of him, whereas this is just the standard G1, so it is slightly different. Again, the color scheme works though. I like this. There's not much more to say about this, to be honest. Everything's all sort of folded in, and granted, when I do these videos I like to do the first impressions in robot mode, but because they're coming out of the box, it wouldn't be first impressions if it was in robot mode. I'd have already, you know, played with him and transformed him, but otherwise, as we'd expect, I actually like this mold. I'm more interested to see though if we've got in a second whether these are loose, because obviously these have been loose on both of the previous, and you can see right there both of the previous uses of this particular mold. So I think that's what we need to do next anyway, because I doubt very many people, in fact, leave me a comment, are you going to be displaying this in alternate mode? It's definitely not with this on anyhow, it's definitely not the best alternate mode that I've seen for Blurr, to be honest. One last quick look at it then before we do go on to the final part and have a look at everything else. This is how they're saying we should display him if he's in alternate mode. Anyway, that's the last look of that. Let's have a look at him now in his robot mode, the way I'm going to be displaying him, and with a load more comparisons. Okay, then here we are with him in his robot mode. Quick apologies for no transformation process on this video. That's for a couple of reasons. One, to keep the length of the main video down, and two, not to spoil it for anybody who doesn't want it spoiling. I know a lot of people like to experience that first transformation for themselves, and hopefully, as I say, you can do that yourself. But if you do want to see it, it will be uploaded separately in its own video. And as you can see, I'm very pleased to announce that even though these are bigger and there's a lot more bits to it, they seem to be staying in place. I think that's due to the fact, see, oh, there's the feet in the way. See, we've got this tab there which fits in there. It doesn't click fully in, but at the moment it's holding and it looks good. Let's have a look at this new head sculpt then. Wow, that's really good. It's loads different. Again, I like with a lot of the videos that I do on new figures, I don't watch other people's reviews purely for the fact that I want to experience it for myself for the first time. And you can see it's vastly different, that head sculpt is. I do look at some pictures, obviously, but in-hand images like this, I'm completely new to, and I really like that. It looks great. They took everything up all the back nicely. There's nothing too open. Maybe that bit there will be classed as a bit gappy. I know some people don't like the gaps, and funnily enough now I think the knee joint feels a little bit too loose rather than the elbow joint. That would be complete irony now if that was the case. Let's have a look at the accessories then. So obviously we've got the main gun, and we've got his cutting drill as well, or his cutting tool. Is this going to fit in? Yeah, of course it is. Straight in. Actually, that knee does feel really quite loose. And then we're going to attach this into his hand as well. In fact, what we need to do is, of course, articulation. Head all the way around, backwards and forwards. Shoulders, yep, all the way around. You can see you've got this joint inside there, so it allows it to come out to the side and all the way around. You can see we've got bicep flexion. Wrist, is it a swivel? Is it gonna? It should do, looking at that. No, maybe it shouldn't. I don't want to force it. I may be completely wrong because it looks like this is attached to it. A little bit of a swivel. Yeah, a little bit of a swivel. It has got a little bit of a swivel, but mainly due to transformation. I think that's obviously just come out already, so maybe that hand is a little bit too big. Who knows? Waist swivel. Yeah, hips, side, front, knees, ankle tilt and rock, as you'd expect. Everything. Yeah, exactly that. Everything you'd expect with a new figure, in honesty. So let's do one that I don't know if anybody else has done this before, but it makes perfect sense. This is, of course, the Legacy line, which is 40 years on. Before this, we had the Thrilling 30 line, which was obviously cluing the title, 30 years on. And they chose to do some IDW versions of the figures as well. So I thought I'd just throw a couple of these in as well, just for you to have a look at. Trust me to pick the ones that don't balance. This is IDW Skids. Let's do this. Put his arm forward. There you go. IDW Skids with IDW Hoist. And he fits into that perfect. All the same sort of height, same sort of proportions. I think he looks great. Really liking that, to be honest. Let's just move these out of the way. And then we've, of course, got Generation 1 Blurr, which, funnily enough, as you can see, is bigger. I wasn't expecting that. Some of these old G1 toys actually do surprise me at just how tall they are. We've already had a look at him in his alternate mode as well. You can see where they use the sort of similar colour scheme, but totally different figure. Let's pop this guy up then. This was the Titans Return version of him, and probably one of the worst, let's be honest. This version was not the best, and look how small it is compared to them. Right, the last comparison that we're going to do then is, of course, uses of the same mould. And he's had quite a few, hasn't he, really? Because this original one here isn't that old. So this original Studio Series 86 one, there we go. And, of course, the shattered glass version of him. Now, does he beat the shattered glass one? I'm not too sure, because I think the shattered glass one is just totally out there. It's well, as you can see, it is. It's just the colour scheme and everything on it is just mental. But I am happy to say that at the moment, the back of the forearms, they are holding up, whereas his have still fell out. There we go, and so's the others. So I'm thinking they've obviously managed to improve that. Again, I know it's obviously a choice, especially at the moment with it using the same mold, etc. Whether you want to get these or you want to add it to your collection, is it different? Is it different enough? I think the way that I've justified it is the fact that again, I've got some of the other Thrilling 30 figures, which are IDW incarnations of these figures. So for me, I can display him with them as well as with the Velocitron toy line as well. But there you go. I think he's okay. I think he's just about different enough. The colour scheme is, of course, quite different, even to the standard one. And you can see all the retooling here on the top of the shoulders. In fact, let's do some more of that while we're here. So let's just go. You can see the wheel, the difference in the forearm. Yeah, in fact, there's quite a bit of difference. There's more than I, in fact, realised, and I should have done this earlier. Yeah, look at this. Loads more different, to be honest. So it is quite a heavy retool as well as a redeco. So, yeah, I think it is. Yeah, even as I said, the front, the shoulders, the arms, the back part, the nose part, the front. Quite a good, yeah, quite a bit of difference there. Let me know what you think. Is there enough difference for you to warrant to go purchase this, or are you a bit like myself because it's a little subline and I suppose quite limited edition, really, isn't it? Are you going to pick one of these up? Let me know in the comments, guys. Take care. Thanks for watching. Like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe.